Yeah. I could have used the day out.
Yeah.
I had plenty of time. Because when we started, oh, here we go.
I think we're ready.
Okay. The August Parks and Recreation meeting is now in session.
Is your mic on?
The August Parks and Recreation meeting is now in session. Call to order. Mr. Sharretts, can you do the roll call for us, please?
Certainly. Wade Pollock,
Here.
Peter Lake,
Here?
Caitlin Foy is absent. Joseph Catrombone
Here.
and Rose Vanicola.
Item 3, we'll have a moment of silence. And we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4.1, consider approving the agenda. Do we have a motion
I make a motion.
in a second?
Second.
Motion was made by member Lake and seconded by member Catrombone. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion moves unanimously. Public comment for agenda items only. Seeing no public comment and none was received. Item 6.1, consider approving the minutes from July 2nd, 2024 meeting. So I don't think that we've received the minutes yet, so we'll hold that until next month. Item 7.1, Public Works update. Mr. Sharretts, please.
Certainly, just a few things that highlight what we've done in the park system over the last month. First of all, the parks are visited 3 times a week for inspection and trash cleaning, et cetera. We've spent a bit of time up at the Meadow Preserve doing the initial clearing work for the eventual parking area that's going to be up there. It's been basically working in the thicket area as well as making where the connection from that area will be to the switchback that gets into the meadow. We're still a ways off from that being utilized as a parking area. It was 2 weeks worth of work just doing some of the vegetation clearing where that's going. We've been doing line painting throughout the township, and one of the things we do when we do line painting is freshen up the lines at the parks. So Drexel Lodge Park, we freshened up the lines there. Obviously around here at Gable, as well as Crassus Field, we repainted the lines there.
For soccer fields.
The soccer fields over there. Bocce ball. So we have been, there's 2 groups that currently use the bocce ball courts every week. There's a number of people that use it individually, but there's 2 groups that schedule through Marlboro Newtown Recreation. We've been going over right before each of their times twice a week and blowing the court off. The sycamore trees have been dropping their leaves a little early, and so they've been getting covered with the bocce ball court's been getting covered with leaves. So we've been going over and clearing that before folks go and use it. There was a tree down. There was a tree that came down in Newby Park during the last month. We cleared that out and took care of that. The 2 basketball courts were repainted, so the one out here was restored the way that it was when it was first put in. The basketball court at Newby Park was painted in a similar fashion. The seals that are going at the center court have not been done yet. When the stencils were done, they came back. Apparently, they accidentally sized them to an indoor gymnasium court and not an outside court. Apparently, the center court seal is a different size, so they had to redo the stencil. As soon as the weather cooperates, they're going to have that painted at both parks. Down at Newby Park, because there had been some problems with folks driving ATVs through the property in the park there, we have installed bollards in the locations where it's most obvious to bring a vehicle like that in there. And I guess the last thing would be, we worked with our landscaper. There had been some finds of poison ivy in different areas on the trails and the park system. We worked with our landscaper that does the grass cutting, and they went around and treated for all the areas of poison ivy. So that has been taken care of. That's my report for the month of July.
So the bollards were placed where Broomall Park, the entrance from Ann Park, is that where?
Yes, so there are actually 3 locations over at Newbie. So the entrance where you can walk up that path and get to Ann Park, that's one of them, and that's where the ATV had come through and done some damage most recently. We also put some on coming from Newbie Drive down the incline to get to the park. We put some up there so that you couldn't drive down there if you wanted to. And then we installed 1 or 2 additional ones down at the Doe Lane side so that you can't just drive around the chain when it's up. Again, we take the chain down when a vehicle does need to come through officially and properly. However, folks could technically drive around it, and so we put some extra bollards up so they can't do that.
Very nice. Thank you, George. Item 8.1, update and possible action on budget requests for items for 2025. Does anyone have anything they want? I have a list that I came up with, and I think we've discussed some of this before, and I've talked to some of the members individually. So I'll just go over that. So for recurring community events, the concerts haven't been going as well as planned. The weather's not cooperated. The turnout's not been as great as we hoped. So I'm thinking that if maybe we just cancel them for 2025 and, we'll relook at it in 2026. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of funds coming from businesses, and we could probably get a bigger bang for our buck if we use those donations for family type events, because they seem to be, working out well for some reason. I guess it's just our population. So I think maybe we just cancel them for next year. So one of the, in lieu of having a concert for older generation and all generations, possibly having the high school bands or jazz band form at Drexel Lodge Park might be an option. I don't know if you have access to okay. Probably spring, May is usually when we do. And I think they're still in session. We'll probably have to be early May because when do they get out? Oh, June.
Yeah.
Okay, so sometime in May would be.
Yeah, but your seniors may get out a little bit earlier than that, so that's
true.
probably,
Yeah.
keep it in May, you're probably best.
And the weather would be better. April just doesn't seem, it seems to be a little chilly. And yes. Jazz band or any form of band that might work out. And that would bring in families as well, and probably the older crowd as well, right?
Okay.
Families of the band members, definitely.
For sure, right? The school could help publicize it, and we'll use all the other options that we do to publicize it. It's good, great flyers. And if there's any cost associated with that for them. I tried reaching out to someone at the school before. I never heard back. I think you have better access to it. So I guess the library series seems to be going very well, so we should probably keep that as well. And the yoga series seems to be working out very well, so it's nicely attended. And also September, there's going to be another yoga series at Brookside Park. There's going to be 2 events in September. not sure of the dates. But I don't know if we have to vote on that, or I think it's already, the township's already, we've coordinated with them, it's going out in the publications.
Yeah, I think just for consistency's sake, I would have your group just state that that's what they want to do as a group, and
Okay.
yeah.
I'm just gonna look up the date real quick. I'm sorry. Um, Tuesday, September 3rd, and Tuesday, September 10th at 9:30 a.m. So do we have a motion to approve free yoga in the park at Brookside Park, Tuesday, September 3rd, and Tuesday, September 10th, 9:30 a.m.
Motion.
In a second? A motion was made by member Catherine Bone and seconded by member Renicola. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion moves unanimously.
What were those times again?
September 3rd,
9 a.m.
9:30 a.m. Yes,
To when?
Tuesdays. I think it's an hour, so
Okay.
10:30.
Thanks.
And that's yoga in the circle, providing that free to community members, residents. So I think, I'm not sure what we spent last year in total on the library series and the yoga posters and that kind of stuff, but I think $1,000 is probably enough to cover it. So,
Yeah, because I think you want to potentially want to use the bus again and things like that. So
Yes.
that'll help cover those type of costs.
yes, I think we do an historic site every year, and this year, I think Steve had mentioned the octagonal schoolhouse, and that will probably require a bus trip as well. So should we vote on that as well?
I think that what you want to look at is all of your events, like what you want to do as a whole, and then
Okay.
vote on it as a whole for your budget. So
Yeah.
if that's all you want to do next year as a group, then, you're looking at your high school jazz band, you're looking at the library series, the yoga series. I thought you had mentioned continuing the family events,
Yes.
2 of those, is that right? One in the
Yes.
spring and one in the fall?
Yes.
Is there anything else and then you and I had talked about, even though that it's kind of coming out of George's area, but I think it's your recommendation that we get at least some playground equipment at Greer Park.
Yes. So do we vote on everything at once, or?
Yeah, I would do it, like I would
Okay.
put everything that you want to do as the activities that you want to focus on,
Okay.
and then that's your vote.
Okay. All right, so those are the events, and additionally, we might want to do something at Newbie Park as well, so I think the $1,000 should probably cover everything for events. In addition, we discussed putting a banner up on the pavilion at Drexel Lodge Park. Stafford Friends School showed an interest in painting a banner that we could hang. George's guys would have to put some eye hooks up on the pavilion, and we would hang the poster up there for a month, just opening the park, and maybe we could have a ceremony, have these kids there that participated. Just put something colorful up with flowers or birds or whatever it might be. And just say, welcome to Drexel Lodge Park. And so we would need canvas and the grommets to go in it, I guess the tool to install that. I actually have that I can donate because it's in my basement for 10 years. I don't know why I have it. But the canvas we would have to purchase, and might be a one-time purchase that, we could use for the next few years.
Sure.
That's a lot.
The real focus that I want you on today, is as a group deciding what is it that you'd like to do. We'll get to the exact dollars over the next couple months.
Okay.
Because what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a presentation together based on what all the groups want.
Okay.
And on probably the second meeting in September, we're gonna present that to the board. And the idea being that we're presenting all the ideas, and then the board will just kind of say, yes, we like these ideas. We'd like you to go through and find all the budget dollars and,
Okay.
and do that. So that if there's something that the board is not wanting us to head in a direction because it doesn't meet our strategic plan or doesn't meet, the direction we want to head, you don't spend time going down and trying to get what the costs are and all of those kind of things. And then we'll worry about what the costs are. We'll put that together. And then the board might still have to say no because it's, there's too much, but at least this way are these the things we want to be spending energy on and finding cost and finding resources for, and then going from there.
Okay. So we'll include that one. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. Capital, sunshade, the swing, we did last year, we did a canopy, for a bench at Brookside Park. And then we put some caps on the equipment for some shade on it, and it worked out well. It's improved the park a lot.
Mhm.
And folks are using it, but the swing set, I've had my grandchildren there and I've stopped in when other kids are there, parents and stuff. And it is kind of warm in the summer months. The sun's shining on these black seats on the swing set itself. So, and I've recently been looking at books for playground equipment, and they actually make a sunshade that would go over top of the swing set.
Mhm.
So it's something you could purchase. You don't have to make it custom. So I thought that might be something. I've seen it at other playgrounds as well. I don't know if
At Brookside?
Yes, at Brookside, yeah. The swing set here is shaded, Gable. Swing set at Newbie is shaded. And I think that's all we have.
Greer.
And we went, Greer, yeah, but we're in
So-
the process of,
He said it was straight.
Here is shaded because of
Oh,
the
Greer,
trees.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Greer is kind of out in the middle, but
yes,
Greer is part of the bigger plan. So.
yeah.
Yeah, we can.
so if everyone's okay with that, we'll include that as well.
Yep.
And then, so the playground at Drexel Lodge Park, there is some kids that run, around, and that road, there are cars that go there fast sometimes. So the crosswalks aren't marked. I thought maybe if we painted the crosswalks with hash marks, there's 3 of them, 2 that come from the upper soccer field down to the pavilion area, and then there's another from the playground, from the bathroom itself. So if that was painted, that might at least warn people that there's a crosswalk there. And then if we put some kind of small fence just to keep the toddlers from running into that street,
Mhm.
some kind of picket fence, I'm not sure, how big it would need to be to keep toddlers out.
Is there any signage there, speed limit? 8
200.
miles, 8 miles an hour.
I mean, before a vehicle would get to the playground, it's at a stop sign. So they should not be going fast when they go past the playground because there's a stop sign there.
Right.
I
I don't think we have a speed limit
in the park.
in the park.
I don't think,
No.
I don't remember seeing.
is there a stop sign that's pull in before turning left to go?
Ordinance.
Just by the bathrooms, yeah.
Probably we could give it a name of the road. Or, you know, Drexel Lodge Park Road. Or whatever you want to call it.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
we could, I think, yeah, I was gonna say one option would be speed tables. The other option, you know, you had mentioned the fence. I think that's a reasonable, you know, that you could do a nice split rail fence along that area just to kind of deter somebody from running out into the street.
Right.
You know, and would have some benefit anyhow, for that purpose. So,
What do you think? Rose seems to think that the speed bump might be enough if we put the speed bump just prior to that crosswalk, it might be enough.
I was just say yeah, George just made the comment and I was gonna say the same thing. We could make it the crosswalk.
Oh, the speed bump itself.
Make the speed table,
yeah.
make it a speed table and make it a,
Okay, and put a sign there. that
Raised
says
crosswalk.
speed-
yeah, raised crosswalk.
Okay.
And
Right.
put a sign there. But I think there's two different issues in my mind, based on the conversation that you and I had, Wade. One is having a safe place for people to cross from one side of the park to the other. And so I think that we might actually want to do both. The other is that there's kids playing in the playground. And if the kid takes off running and runs towards the street, even if we've slowed traffic down, you know, doesn't keep a child from running in right in front of a car. If you put a little bit of a, you know, a fence along that area there, and it can be a little bit away from the playground, so it's not right, making the playground feel. One of the things I don't want it to feel is like it's secluded and locked off, but, you know, just kind of covering, or, you know, maybe we come back with some plantings of some sort, but I'm just saying we could do some buffering
Okay,
between the road and there.
Okay.
That, because based on, I think you have two issues. One is we want to slow the traffic down that's there, but the other is you got kids playing and parents are watching, but we all know watching a child doesn't mean that you have your finger on them every moment, and it doesn't
especially
take
if you
long.
have more than one child.
Yeah,
Like my
exactly.
daughter, she has.
And
two
the last
kids,
thing we want is for a kid to run out in front of somebody, even
Okay.
if they're going slow,
Okay,
and do that. So, I know I don't think we've had a problem up to this point, but I think it's, the more the park gets used, and we want to encourage that, you increase the chance. And I think that this is
okay,
I think it's an easy fix on both sides.
okay. So we'll include that. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, that's one,
Great.
great. Safety first.
So then, some of the events we've had have been very warm at Drexel Lodge Park in the pavilion itself. There's been other groups there doing stuff, and it gets rather warm. Yoga was warm. And we actually had to take some of our events and put them in the shaded area on upper soccer field, for some relief. So, someone had mentioned, putting ceiling fans in the pavilion itself that could be turned on during some of those events, and then
Circulate
turned
the
off
air.
when someone rents it, or
Yeah.
we have something specific going on. They might not need to be on all the time, but
Sure.
so, you know, George had some concerns about the maintenance of those and possibly bees getting in them. But, you know, I think we can make that discussion in front of the supervisors if they want to discuss it then. But is that okay?
Yeah.
Two, or how many do you think?
How many fans do you think we would need, George? If we did that? How many lights are in there? That's probably the limiting factor.
There are 3 lights in there.
Okay. So that would be 3 fans.
Sure. Not a bad idea.
Okay, so we're okay with adding that as well?
Sure.
Okay. And then something for 2026, I just wanted to discuss now that it's not gonna be in a budget request, was contacting Villanova University about putting a bridge in at Brookside Park from the playground parking lot area over to the area that's across the stream. So, you know, it's something I would need to start now with Villanova Engineering School to see if they would be interested in supplying us with a design that perhaps we could use Eagle Scouts to build it, so. um, Yes, yeah, Fox's Run. Brennmore Avenue, there's streams here and Brennmore Avenue's here, the playground's over here, the parking lot's here. So we planted the trees along that Fox's Run there from Brennmore Avenue, the corner of Brookside Road, where it meets Brennmore Avenue. There's a tributary. It's the beginning of Fox's Run that goes in there. So right where the parking lot is. So if you follow that stream to the parking lot, somewhere around there would be an ideal location. So that's just something tentative. I'm going to reach out to Villanova University and see if that's okay. I don't know that we need to vote on that. We're not doing anything official.
That's the only thing would be, if you're wanting to try to do it in 2026, but you said 2026, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If you're wanting to try to do it in 2026, but we had to engage Villanova, and there may still be a cost. So like Villanova may say, yes, we'll do it, but you'll have to pay for the paper or whatever, you'll pay for something, you know, who knows? The DEP permits, whatever. So we may still have a cost. So in 2025,
We put a
to
budget
be
request.
prepared to move forward in 2026.
Okay.
So I think we should put it on and just treat it as part of a 2025 project that would be completed in 2026.
Okay. It just provides access to that area that perhaps,
Yeah, it's very nice over there.
yeah, I jumped the stream. Maybe, yeah, we could add something later, years down in the. Right, and then, entrance to, the Gable playground, Gable Park playground and the ball field. I think we're gonna try and do a PICO grant on that. I'm not sure how we handle that, so I wanted to have Eric, the township engineer, do a concept drawing that we could use in the grant application. I talked to Steve, we're gonna have to write up a concept plan to provide to Steve and the administration that could be presented to the board to seek approval for Eric to develop a drawing for that effort. So that's something that I don't know what it would cost, but he would be doing the design, concept design in 2025 for that effort. That's in conjunction with EAC and Trails and Greenway Committee. And then another thing was historical sign at Drexel Lodge Park. So we could coordinate with Drexel University to help us develop a historical sign, because Drexel Lodge was originally the athletic field for Drexel University. We ship the kids out, they would spend the night and have dances, and they did every sport that they have. They did all the practice fields. There's tennis courts, football fields, and that's how the park came to be in its current configuration, pretty much. So having an historical sign there might help bridge a relationship with Drexel University, who has an environmental science curriculum there. And we did reach out to them before COVID about helping us develop some ecological areas in the water stream upstream it's just a pretty neat, unique ecosystem. It's spring fed. If you ever go back there, the water is clear as day, and you can see the springs bubbling up, and there's different flora and fauna there. So they did express an interest in it, but when COVID hit, everything just kind of fell apart. So this sign might help us start a communication with the university to develop a relationship.
Great idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
wonderful.
And then we'll have the yoga series again next year. I think that was all I had. Yeah, that's all I had for budget items.
Did you, and I know I brought it up real briefly, but did you discuss at all, rear park playground?
Oh, so Greer Park Playground, I'm not sure that Steve and I met and we discussed, there's not enough resources currently, and the master plan calls for some major work going on, stream realignment, the dam being breached, riparian buffers being installed, so there's a lot of construction work that still needs to go on. So to do the configuration is called out in the master plan with two major playgrounds and one up in the front would be counterintuitive. You know, it's not logical in the course of the schedule required to do this first and then do that work, because you might impact the playground. So we discussed putting the road in from the parking lot for for 3 handicap spots, and then installing the playground that is in the front of the park is an inclusive playground. So putting those features at the end of there, and perhaps leaving it there temporarily until the other playgrounds are finally designed and installed, we could then move some of that equipment over and perhaps use the material that's going to have to be on the ground for an inclusive playground at a later date. But it would at least put something in the park to satisfy some of the residents there, because there's been some concerns from local residents and from people with children with special needs not having a place to go in the township currently. So it would be a scaled down version, but at least we'd get something started. So I did reach out to a local business that has assets that might be able to help. Possible grants are available for that as well, but right now I think the township has a certain amount of money, and it might be enough to cover that work, so we can get that started. So I guess, is that okay with everyone?
I'm just confused about the timing, like,
So that would be next summer, I think
We tried to get it in next year.
and that's just the road down to that playground. It'd be a few features for special needs children, not a full-fledged playground as you would see, like in Haverford has a very nice one, Freedom Park.
yeah.
So I mean, it's not ideal, but at least we would have something accomplished at Greer Park. It's been,
I think we're probably a couple years before we get to where we really want to be. And so during that time is to have something that people can go and get a feel of what the park's going to be like and get used to being able to use the park while we're transitioning through. The hydrology of the park has been a little bit more difficult than we initially anticipated. And so it's taking a little bit more to get the stream process determined exactly what we're going to do. So while we're still working through that, I'd like to at least people to feel like we're making some progress at the park. That's the intent.
Is that okay with everyone as well, or?
Yeah,
Okay,
something, for sure.
I think that's all I had.
So we'll vote on all that.
Yes. We don't.
So I think you would just vote on that as a batch of the things that you'd like to do for 2025.
Okay.
Understanding some of them actually carry over to 2026 as well.
Okay. So, do we have a motion to recommend to the Board of Supervisors all those items that we just discussed? Motion was made by Member Lake and seconded by Member Vanicola. All those in favor say aye. Aye. The motion carries unanimously. Item 9.1, update and possible action on Family Fun Day at Drexel Lodge Park on September 21st, 2024. So we did agree on 10-2 for the event itself. There is a petting zoo going to be there, the ride on train. I'm in the process of trying to acquire Royal paint. So that'll be there as well. I'm thinking perhaps having a sing-along at the pavilion from 11:30 to 12:30 or 11:30 to 12:15, or not at the pavilion, at the gazebo. So we're using the full park and we'll spread kids out. Temporary tattoos, and I think we're going to try and get the Honor Society, yes, to support that. And do you think we should reach out to the Presbyterian Church volunteers as well at this point, or? Yeah, well, Pete can do that, right?
Yeah, well, it was Springton Lake Presbyterian.
I'm sorry.
That, they came out and did the tree planting.
Right.
With the two pastors. It was really good. I can do that.
We need to support the Railroad Museum's efforts within their boundaries as well, so the more volunteers, the better. And
And that's a Saturday, right?
yes,
Okay.
September 21st,
Yep.
10-2.
Yep.
Do you want me to create a, what's the webpage where you sign up? You know,
Sign up genius?
yes, there you go. Do you want me to create one of those for the volunteers to sign up on?
That would be good. Yeah.
It does seem to help with that.
Yeah.
And if anyone has any suggestions on, possible little things that are inexpensive to do, we do have, I think $1,150 donated from businesses so far. I would expect some more, and I don't think it's going to be much more than that, but I expect some more donations coming in.
And there's still some funding from the township if
Okay,
needed.
okay. So we should be covered for sure. So we don't have to vote on anything there, right?
I think all of that has been voted on in the past, so I think you're okay.
Right. All right, item 9.2, update and possible action on Newbie Park Rock Snake on October 5th. So I met with Kathy Cavalier, who's a retired art teacher from the Historical Society, and reviewed the concept that we looked at, that we want to do there, and a few locations to present, but in discussing it with her, and then I talked to Jill Bialy from Culbertson Elementary, the art school teacher there, last week, and there's some concern as to how much effort this actually is. It's probably going to be 1,000 rocks that we're going to paint. They need to be painted white first, and then an acrylic paint on top, and then spray painted with a clear coat over that. Otherwise, they fade. And we don't want to just throw this together and a year from now have all these rocks faded and not look good. So, and then we need to get volunteers to help with carving out this area, installing the cement, installing the rocks in it. So it's October 5th is just a pretty sporty timeline to have that done, especially with the Family Fun Day on the 21st.
Right.
So I talked to Jill. She said it would be better for her because she has other events going on. She has a major event at the high school with all the elementary kids doing projects she has planned. She could do it, but the third graders wouldn't be able to do it because they're not up to par with how their painting skills. So spring would be better for her. She has more children that could do rock at that time. And I still need to, I was going to go to Galantino's and see if they would donate the rocks themselves.
Mhm.
So, so we're looking at possibly just doing that in the spring. So, yeah, so, but we haven't done an event at Newbie, and we've really tried to do an event there every year because it's just developing a sense of community and stewardship for the park, the local residents. So I reached out to Rich Enow about possibly doing a basketball clinic to provide some visibility to the new basketball court there. So I'm meeting with him Friday, August 9th to discuss possible having a clinic or a little camp, just to something small, or a basketball game between, because there has been some issues there with minor vandalism between in park kids coming into our park and maybe ours going into them. So I think both police departments have been involved with some minor vandalism going on there. So maybe a pickup game between Broomall Fire or Police Department and our police department. So Rich was up for that as well, or our fire department and our police department. So, Rich has a lot of knowledge. I think that he's probably going to have other ideas and maybe help zero in. So,
Awesome.
okay. And so I guess we can vote on that in September. We still have time. And yes. Okay. Yes, and I'm sure they probably have stuff planned as well. They're our teacher, they spent the whole summer coming up with the curriculum. Okay, thank you, Rose. Item 9.3, review of children summer series events and the yoga. So yoga went very well. It was highly attended. Great, just amazing. A lot of residents, different ages showed up. The other two, we had two other events since our last meeting. They were what the heck was the police department. Officer Kine and Boya came out and just did an amazing job in the heat. They were, he was dressed in full uniform with a bulletproof vest on, standing in the hot sun when it was 90-some degrees. And there were two other police officers there assisting him. And one of them actually put the great big rubber suit on where Boya fights him. He's standing out in the hot sun. I couldn't imagine how hot this man was.
Yeah.
It was highly attended. The kids clapped. They were just crazy about it. And we kind of shortened it, and Boya was just wonderful. He gave a little speech about safety issues and that kind of stuff. It just went very, very well. And so it was shortened a little bit because of the heat, but I mean, they came out and just fantastic job. Thank God for our police department. And then we had ice cream that the library paid for, and that went well. We didn't have spoons, but we taught the kids how to use the lid from the cups to get the stuff. So yeah, it was just a great turnout. I'm thinking there was probably like 80 kids there or something like that, or 80 in total. Yeah. And that was done in the upper soccer field as well in the shade. But again, Officer Kine stood out in the hot sun, in full uniform, bulletproof vest, everything. God bless him. And then the other event was the Railroad Museum, which it was just another amazing event. It was a much cooler event. And the kids came and we just kind of let them go. They just went wherever they went. Everything was open. Sheila O'Sullivan Feeney came out to help. Franchi was there and I was there. And we kind of just manned the Railroad Museum itself. And I think there was then the library handed out water ice and pretzels that we cut in half. And one of the librarians, there was 3 of them there, said that she counted at least 85 people in the pavilion just for the water ice. I don't know if everyone went down. So it was very well attended. I think there were some donations made to the Railroad Museum, and it got some eyes on the Railroad Museum, hopefully a couple of volunteers. It's a part of our park. It's not associated with us, but it's a great draw for us. And then the township paid for the water ice. We just used Acme because it was much cheaper. I think it was $56 for cups of water ice, and it worked out well. And we had 50 pretzels, cut them in half, and each kid got a half pretzel. So there wasn't much left at the end. Very well attended, great event. So, and if anyone has any other ideas on what we can do next year, we're going to continue that. But thank God for the library, just amazing.
Yeah.
Angela is just an amazing person. And that's all I have. Does anyone have anything? So I guess we're okay. We're adjourned.
Thanks, Wayne.
Thank you.
Thanks for your.